Announcer bot is active. The race session is at Algarve Portimao 2023 in Portimao, Portugal. Christian Gomez from Colombia is P1. Yan Li from China is P2. Jean-Pierre Perrin from Colombia is P3. J.Enriquez from Colombia is 4th. Jose Miguel Moncada from Colombia is 5th. Santiago Idarraga from Spain is 6th. Gerson Robia from Colombia is 7th. Ricardo Pineda from Colombia is 8th. Esteban Gomez from Colombia is P9. Sebastian Aristizabal from Colombia is 10th. Santiago Gomez from Colombia is P11. Carlos Huertas from Colombia is 12th. Diego Ortiz from Colombia is P13. Ivan Trujillo from Colombia is P14. Sebastian Valencia from Colombia is 15th. Santiago Bedoya from Colombia is 16th. Oscar Bejos from Colombia is 17th. Juan Barbosa from Colombia is 18th. Christian Gomez is P1. Santiago Idarraga in T1 Primera is P3. Ricardo Pineda in T3 Lagos is P6. Jose Miguel Moncada is P7. Esteban Gomez is P10. Sebastian Valencia in T7 is P14. Sebastian Valencia is now P15. Jean-Pierre Perrin is P3. Ricardo Pineda in T13 is P6. Ricardo Pineda is now P4. Moncada is P6, 0.5 behind Santiago Idarraga. Juan Barbosa in T15 down is P9, 0.1 behind J.Enriquez. Behind Sebastian Aristizabal. Sebastian Valencia is P15, 0.4 behind Diego Ortiz. Diego Ortiz in T4 is P15 battling Sebastian Valencia. Diego Ortiz lost P15 to Ivan Trujillo. Jose Miguel Moncada in T8 Samsung is P5, 0.5 behind Santiago Idarraga. Santiago Idarraga from Spain in T12 is P5. Santiago Idarraga lost P6 to J.Enriquez. Yanli in T10 Portimao is 17, 0.1 behind Diego Ortiz. Sebastian Aristizabal in T14 Sagres is P11, 0.2 behind Esteban Gomez. Sebastian Aristizabal is now P10. Santiago Idarraga in T15 Delft is 11, 0.3 behind Sebastian Aristizabal. Esteban Gomez is 11, 0.1 behind Santiago Idarraga. Esteban Gomez lost P11 to Santiago Gomez. Ivan Trujillo in T4 is P15, 0.7 behind Sebastian Valencia. Esteban Gomez is 12, 0.3 behind Santiago Gomez. Sebastian Aristizabal is P9, 0.2 behind Santiago Bedoya. Sebastian Aristizabal passed Santiago Bedoya for P8. J.Enriquez from Colombia in T13 is P6, 0.4 behind Carlos Huertas. Santiago Bedoya in T13 is 10, 0.2 behind Santiago Idarraga. Santiago Gomez is 11, 0.5 behind Santiago Bedoya. Santiago Gomez is now 10. Gerson Robia is 12, 0.3 behind Esteban Gomez. Diego Ortiz entering the pits is 17. Esteban Gomez in T2 is P11, 0.3 behind Santiago Bedoya. Esteban Gomez passed Santiago Bedoya for 10. Sebastian Aristizabal is P12 battling Santiago Bedoya. Sebastian Aristizabal passed Santiago Bedoya for P11. Sebastian Aristizabal is now P10. Santiago Bedoya is P12, 0.3 behind Esteban Gomez. Yanli is 16, 0.1 behind Sebastian Valencia. Diego Ortiz exiting pits. Yanli passed Sebastian Valencia for 15th. Sebastian Valencia from Colombia in T8 Samsung is 16, 0.5 behind Yanli. J.Enriquez is 5th, 0.2 behind Carlos Huertas. Sebastián Aristizabal is P10, 0.4 behind Santiago Gomez. Carlos Huertas in T4 is P5, 0.5 behind J.Enriquez. Gerson Robia in T3 Lagos is P14. Santiago Gomez in T5 Torre VIP is 10th, 0.5 behind Sebastián Aristizabal. Trujillo is P14, 0.3 behind Gerson Robia. Esteban Gomez in T10 Portimao is P11, 0.5 behind Santiago Gomez. Esteban Gomez is now P10. Gerson Robia in T12 is 13th, 0.3 behind Santiago Bedoya. Ricardo Pineda entering the pits is 3rd. Gerson Robia is now 12th. Carlos Huertas is P5. Santiago Idarraga entering the pits is P8. Santiago Bedoya in T15 Galp is P11, 2.6 ahead of Ivan Trujillo. Esteban Gomez entering the pits is 9th. Santiago Bedoya entering the pits is 10th. Christian Gomez exiting pits. Sebastián Aristizabal entering the pits is 15th. Santiago Gomez entering the pits is 16th. Gerson Robia is 12th. J.Enriquez exiting pits. Jose Miguel Moncada exiting pits. Carlos Huertas exiting pits. Ricardo Pineda exiting pits. Santiago Idarraga exiting pits. Esteban Gomez is P10. Oscar Bejos entering the pits is 17th. Esteban Gomez exiting pits. Gerson Robia exiting pits. Ivan Trujillo exiting pits. Santiago Bedoya is P13. Santiago Bedoya exiting pits. Santiago Bedoya is now 13th. Sebastián Aristizabal exiting pits. Gerson Robia in T4 is P12, 0.2 behind Diego Ortiz. Juan Barbosa exiting pits. Oscar Bejos exiting pits. J.Enriquez in T13 is P5, 1.1 behind Yanli. Santiago Gomez exiting pits. Yanli in T15 Galp is 5th battling J.Enriquez. Yanli lost P6 to Carlos Huertas. Santiago Bedoya is P14, 0.7 behind Ivan Trujillo. Carlos Huertas is P5, 0.4 behind Jose Miguel Moncada. Yanli exiting pits. Jose Miguel Moncada in T9. Craig Jones is P4, 0.5 ahead of Carlos Huertas. Carlos Huertas in T12 on lap 7 is P5, 0.4 behind Jose Miguel Moncada. Gerson Robia is P10, 0.3 ahead of Sebastian Valencia. J.Enriquez is now P3. Carlos Huertas in T2 is 4th, 0.3 behind J.Enriquez. J.Enriquez is P3, 0.3 ahead of Carlos Huertas. Carlos Huertas is 4th, 0.3 behind J.Enriquez. Carlos Huertas is now 3rd. Gerson Robia is 10th, 0.5 behind Diego Ortiz. Carlos Huertas is P3, 0.5 ahead of Jose Miguel Moncada. Jose Miguel Moncada in T14 Sagres on lap 8 is P4, 0.3 behind Carlos Huertas. Valencia exiting pits. Carlos Huertas from Colombia is P4. Carlos Huertas passed Jose Miguel Moncada for 3rd. Carlos Huertas lost 3rd to Jose Miguel Moncada. Gerson Robia is 10, 0.4 behind Diego Ortiz. Carlos Huertas is P4, 0.5 behind Jose Miguel Moncada. Gerson Robia is 10th, 0.5 behind Diego Ortiz. behind Jose Miguel Moncada. Santiago Bedoya is P11, 0.4 behind Diego Ortiz. Juan Barbosa in T8 Samsung is 15th, 0.2 behind Yanli. Juan Barbosa passed Yanli for 14th. Santiago Idarraga is 6th. Esteban Gomez entering the pits is P8. Ricardo Pineda is P7. Diego Ortiz is 10th, 2.4 behind Gerson Robia. Diego Ortiz entering the pits is P10. Jean-Pierre Ferrand on lap 10 is P5. Jean-Pierre Ferrand exiting pits. Jose Miguel Moncada exiting pits. Santiago Idarraga exiting pits. Ricardo Pineda is P12. Ricardo Pineda exiting pits. Ricardo Pineda is now 11. Esteban Gomez exiting pits. Juan Barbosa in T4 is 9. Santiago Bedoya exiting pits. Christian Gomez from Colombia is P1. Ivan Trujillo exiting pits. Oscar Bejos entering the pits is 16th. Santiago Gomez on lap 9 is P18. J.Enriquez from Colombia is 2nd. Carlos Huertas entering the pits is 3rd. Santiago Bedoya from Colombia is P14, 0.9 behind Diego Ortiz. Christian Gomez exiting pits. Oscar Bejos exiting pits. Gerson Robia is 4th. J.Enriquez exiting pits. Santiago Idarraga from Spain is P7, 0.2 behind Jose Miguel Moncada. Sebastian Valencia exiting pits. Santiago Idarraga is now P4. Esteban Gomez in T15 Galp is 12, 0.4 behind Juan Barbosa. Esteban Gomez passed Juan Barbosa for 11. Juan Barbosa entering the pits is 12. Gerson Robia on lap 11 is 9. Gerson Robia exiting pits. Sebastian Aristizabal is 10. Sebastian Aristizabal exiting pits. Diego Ortiz entering the pits is P15. Sebastian Aristizabal is now 10. Santiago Idarraga in T8 Samsung on lap 11 is 5th, 0.5 behind Jose Miguel Moncada. Jose Miguel Moncada in T11 is 5th battling Santiago Idarraga. Juan Barbosa exiting pits. Esteban Esteban Gomez in T9. Craig Jones is P8, 0.5 behind Yanli. Diego Ortiz exiting pits. Oscar Bejos entering the pits is 16. Carlos Huertas is P4. Carlos Huertas exiting pits. Carlos Huertas lost fifth to Jose Miguel Moncada. Gerson Robia in T14. Sagres on lap 11 is P10, 0.3 behind Yanli. Oscar Bejos exiting pits. Gerson Robia passed Yanli for 9. Santiago Gomez in T2 is 17, 0.4 behind Sebastian Valencia. Santiago Gomez passed Sebastian Valencia for P16. Oscar Bejos entering the pits is P10. Yanli is 12. Jose Miguel Moncada is 5th, 1.2 behind Santiago Idarraga. Jean-Pierre Ferrand in T12 is 3rd, 0.5 behind J.Enriquez. Sebastian Aristizabal in T5 Torre VIP is 11. Sebastian Aristizabal passed Santiago Bedoya for 10. Diego Ortiz entering the pits is 16. J.Enriquez is P3. Santiago Idarraga is P4. Diego Ortiz exiting pits. Santiago Idarraga is now 3rd. J.Enriquez from Colombia is 6th. J.Enriquez exiting pits. Sebastian Valencia entering the pits is P17. Yanli exiting pits. Ricardo Pineda in T3 Lagos is P7, 0.7 behind J.Enriquez. Sebastian Valencia exiting pits. Esteban Gomez from Colombia in T5 Torre VIP is 8, 1.7 ahead of Gerson Robia. Ricardo Pineda in T11 is 7, 0.8 behind J.Enriquez. Jean-Pierre Ferrand on lap 13 is 2nd. Ricardo Pineda in T15 Galp is 6th. T14 Sagres is P16. Yanli passed Santiago Gomez for 15. Jean-Pierre Perrin is P7. Jean-Pierre Perrin exiting pits. Jean-Pierre Perrin lost 8 to Gerson Robia. Gerson Robia in T2 is P8, 0.3 behind Esteban Gomez. Gerson Robia passed Esteban Gomez for 7. Esteban Gomez in T5 Torre VIP is 8, 1.2 behind Gerson Robia. Sebastian Aristizabal in T5 Torre VIP is 11, 0.8 behind Santiago Bedoya. Jose Miguel Moncada is 3rd, 0.5 behind Santiago Bedoya. Jose Miguel Moncada is now 2nd. Santiago Idarraga is P4. Jose Miguel Moncada is 2nd, 1.5 ahead of Carlos Huertas. Sebastian Aristizabal in T13 is 10, 0.3 behind Santiago Bedoya. Santiago Idarraga exiting pits. Ivan Trujillo is P12, 0.5 behind Jean-Pierre Perrin. Ivan Trujillo passed Jean-Pierre Perrin for 11. Jean-Pierre Perrin is P12. J.Enriquez in T9. Craig Jones on lap 15 is P5, 0.2 behind Ricardo Pineda. Santiago Bedoya is P10, 0.4 behind Sebastian Aristizabal. Jean-Pierre Perrin is 13. Jean-Pierre Perrin exiting pits. Jose Miguel Moncada is P3. Yanli in T14 Sagres is 15. Gerson Robia in T15 Galp on lap 15 to 7, 0.3 behind Esteban Gomez. Gerson Robia passed Esteban Gomez for 6th. Jose Miguel Moncada exiting pits. Gerson Robia is now P5. Ricardo Pineda is 8th. Ricardo Pineda exiting pits. Yanli exiting pits. Jose Miguel Moncada on lap 16 is P7, 1.0 behind Esteban Gomez. Santiago Idarraga is 5th, 0.7 behind Gerson Robier. Santiago Gomez entering the pits is 17th. Jose Miguel Moncada is P7, 0.5 behind Esteban Gomez. Carlos Huertas entering the pits is 2nd. Esteban Gomez in T13 is P7, 0.2 behind Jose Miguel Moncada. Esteban Gomez passed Jose Miguel Moncada for P6. Jose Miguel Moncada in T14 Sagres is 7th, 0.2 behind Esteban Gomez. Santiago Gomez exiting pits. Santiago Idarraga is now P4. Carlos Huertas from Colombia is 6th. Carlos Huertas exiting pits. Jose Miguel Moncada is P7. Jose Miguel Moncada exiting pits. The leader has just finished the race. Cristian Gomez finished 1st. Sebastian Valencia finished 16th. Ivan Trujillo finished 10th. Juan Barbosa is 12th. Ricardo Pineda finished 11th. J.Enriquez is 2nd. J.Enriquez finished 2nd. Finished P17. Esteban Gomez finished P6. Jose Miguel Moncada finished P7. Diego Ortiz finished 14th. Santiago Medley finished 5th. Sebastian Aristizabal finished P9. Yanli finished 15th. finished first. Santiago Gomez is 15th, 0.2 behind Juan Barbosa. Santiago Bedoya is P8, 1.3 behind Jean-Pierre Perrin. Jean-Pierre Perrin is 8, 0.3 behind Santiago Bedoya. Christian Gomez entering the pits is 17th. Jean-Pierre Perrin is now P7. Esteban Gomez is P6, 0.3 behind Santiago Bedoya. Jean-Pierre Perrin is P7, 0.5 behind Esteban Gomez. Jean-Pierre Perrin passed Esteban Gomez for 6th. J.Enriquez entering the pits is 4th. Ricardo Pineda is P4, 0.2 behind Santiago Idarraga. Ricardo Pineda passed Santiago Idarraga for 3rd. Santiago Bedoya is P2, 0.4 behind Sebastián Aristizabal. Esteban Gomez entering the pits is 8th. Santiago Bedoya passed Sebastián Aristizabal for P1. Ivan Trujillo entering the pits is 10th. Ricardo Pineda entering the pits is P1. Sebastian Valencia entering the pits is P12. Sebastian Valencia is P12. Sebastian Aristizabal entering the pits is 8th. Jean-Pierre Ferrand entering the pits is P1. Yanli is P9, 0.5 behind Santiago Gomez. Yanli entering the pits is 14th. Santiago Gomez is P5. Santiago Gomez passed Santiago Idarraga for 4th. Santiago Idarraga entering the pits is P1. Santiago Gomez is now 4th. Diego Ortiz entering the pits is P3. Gerson Roby entering the pits is P9. Santiago Gomez is now P6. Santiago Bedoya is 5th. Juan Barbosa entering the pits is P2. Santiago Gomez entering the pits is 4th. Santiago Bedoya is now P7.